This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice. Please seek a medical professional or healthcare provider if you're seeking any medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Thanks, everyone.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
This is Funny Medicine. I'm Evie.
I'm Julie.
And today we're talking about
PCOS diets.
yes, another trending thing.
Yes. Very trending. A lot of them are like,
Before you did this episode, do you believe in it?
to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it should, my take, it doesn't have to be like tailored to PCOS.
Yeah.
Like at least the ones that I saw, I'm like, this is just for wellness.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
overall, like regardless if you have PCOS or
Yes.
not, that's how I see it. But yeah.
This is such a battle in the social media world.
That's the problem.
Because-
And that's why it's become a trend, because some people swear by certain ones, you know?
Yeah.
I was like,
Don't get me wrong. I think it's just this diet,
yeah.
not even a diet, just a way of eating that you should just be particular with certain foods
Yep.
that I think should apply to everyone, not just PCOS.
That's what I'm saying.
So for those of you that don't on TikTok, I'm
Yeah.
on the side of PCOS TikTok.
Yeah.
There's a huge trend going on about PCOS diets. Basically, that when you eat certain foods at certain times and, you know, the combination of foods that you use, it is going to improve your PCOS and your PCOS symptoms. So Jules and I thought that it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And we've talked about PCOS
Right.
before.
Well, we did, yeah, like, I think, was it a two-parter?
I can't remember.
I don't remember. But yeah,
We've
we
done so many
definitely,
episodes.
I know. But we definitely covered PCOS.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I thought it was interesting to kind of follow up on this whole entire trend about
Yeah.
following a specific diet, which I think can be really hard for people to do at the beginning.
Yeah.
But then when you really do it and realize what it is, it's just a way of eating healthier.
100%. And that's the thing. And I know there's a lot of them that have arguments, like valid arguments
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
why it would benefit your PCOS, like, you know, why it would help your PCOS symptoms and all that stuff. Yeah, there's valid arguments to that. But as an overall thing, they're like very nitpicking
Yeah.
PCOS when it should just be like a whole.
I just think that everyone is a little bit sensitive when it comes to the topic of weight.
Yeah.
And in PCOS, you can check out our episode, but in PCOS, it is a metabolic disease.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, this episode is not on PCOS and what it is, but it's a metabolic disease. We'll talk a little bit more about it anyways as we start our episode. However, part of the syndrome is weight gain. Exactly. Weight gain is a huge thing, and it's very, very hard for people
100%.
to lose that weight.
especially if you're dealing with hormonal situations,
Yeah.
whatever they may be, because there's
Definitely.
a million of them, you know?
Definitely.
And then
PCOS is a real thing.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
this comes, I understand, because again, what we talked about in our other episode, you're in a vulnerable position.
100%.
And here comes someone saying, I have PCOS and I lost weight following this diet. Then that's exactly how they will start the video.
100%.
I have PCOS and I lost 45 pounds eating this. Follow me on what I eat in a day. And when you look at it, I'm just like, well, I don't really understand what's so special about this. And then you have the other side of TikTok that is a little bit kind of like tone deaf because they don't understand what it is to really struggle with the weight gain of PCOS.
Yeah.
Saying, oh, people are saying that this diet is that the only reason why they're not losing weight is because they blame it on their PCOS. And I'm like, don't
Yeah.
even say that because you don't know what that is.
Exactly.
Right? You don't know how that feels because you can gain weight with PCOS.
Yep.
However, eating a certain way can help battle that. Oh, it's heated in there.
Yeah.
It's heated in that world.
Exactly. And it touches upon a lot of sensitive things.
Yes.
You know, PCOS is like a sensitive thing.
Yeah.
There's some people that incredibly so don't even believe that PCOS is actually like a thing.
I know.
And that's insane to me.
Yeah.
For you,
And
like,
not every patient is the same. I know many patients that have PCOS and they don't have the weight problem.
or symptoms.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them don't even know that they have PCOS, while others take years for them to get diagnosed, with PCOS finally. So that's why it's like a sensitive topic to begin with. And then you add on to that dieting and weight into that already sensitive topic. So that's why there's so much like controversy and like all these TikToks and all these things about it. So that's why we decided to do an episode on it.
Yeah.
To shed some light into what
this diet is.
Yeah.
If there's anyone out there with PCOS, you know, maybe this will give you more information, more insight to what these diets are actually like. Those without PCOS, maybe you know someone that you might be able to kind of level up or not level with. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Level with, or just come from a place of understanding.
Exactly.
And just like always, just find out more information about these trendy things.
Just right off the bat, eating better is gonna make you feel better.
If there's anything that our podcast always says is diet and exercise. And when I mean diet, I'm not saying a fad diet. I'm saying eating correctly.
Exactly.
And exercising regularly is always going to be beneficial for everything.
For everything.
For your heart, for your like brain,
mental wellness, for
your metabolism.
Yeah.
Just for your like preventing dementia. How many times have we covered topics like that?
Even aging.
Yeah.
You know, it's vast. So that's why, yes, right off the bat, it is going to help PCOS. Why? You know, eating better is going to help it out. Why? Because it just helps globally. Like your whole self is going to benefit by just eating better.
Yeah, it's the fuel that you're using for your body.
Yeah. So let's get into
As I drink a Celsius, which I know I'm probably not like the best.
I mean, I'm about to get my second one now because I'm already like...
We're not hypocrites here. We call each other out all the time.
It is what it is. I'm gonna go to my second Celsius now, which is not really recommended, but it's gonna happen. But anyway, all right. So let's just give a little recap in case you hadn't, in case you don't know what PCOS or you haven't heard our previous episode or whatever it is. Quick little recap on what it is, Doc.
Yes. So PCOS also stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome, is basically when your hormones and metabolism collide together and then they throw a party and they forget to invite the ovaries, and then it's a mess. It's a mess of hormones. However, it is super common, affecting about 1 in 10 women of reproductive age. That's how common it is. Women with PCOS often have something called insulin resistance, and it's basically when you have very high sugar and the insulin that your body is already putting out, it's just not enough. You become literally resistant to your insulin. You also have higher androgen levels. A lot of those hormones, sometimes known as the male hormones, are also elevated, and also some chronic inflammation can come along with this. Unfortunately, this trio, can cause irregular periods, which then leads to fertility struggles, which then can lead to acne, weight gain.
It's just like a domino effect.
Central weight gain and hair growing in places that you didn't really want.
Yeah.
So it can be actually like really, really frustrating to women, for women that suffer from PCOS. The big deal with PCOS isn't just the ovaries, it's how your whole entire body is processing the foods, how you are exercising, the sugar that you're intaking, the hormones that you have going on.
Hormones do and influence so much.
Yes.
All right. So just a quick history lesson in where did these diets come from?
Yes.
How did this get even thought of? So in the 80s and 90s, of course, that's when diets like really skyrocketed. The fad diets, at least, like weird exercises.
Yeah.
I always remember like jazzercise.
Yeah, I swear, I'm just thinking about someone in a leotard, high socks, really thick sneakers, really, really big hair, not pulled back into a ponytail, but like let down, all crazy,
frizzy
headband.
Exactly.
And like,
let's go. Dance.
Yeah.
What's the guy?
Richard Simmons.
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
right, that's his name, Richard Simmons.
I'm pretty sure it's Richard Simmons, and I know that he passed.
I always get him confused with the painter guy.
The painter guy.
The really famous 80s
Oh,
painter.
yeah. Oh my God, what's his name? Dang. Hold on. And he was a fox when he was young. Have you seen him when he was young?
No.
It's insane. It doesn't even look like the same guy.
Yeah, it definitely isn't Richard Simmons though. I always get them both confused.
Okay.
But
Anyways, yeah. So in the 80s and 90s, the advice was simple: low fat, low calorie, everything.
yeah,
Starve yourself. That was really it, unfortunately. So fast forward to today, we know better. It's not about just calories. It's about keeping insulin steady. So your low glycemic index, so low GI, diets, DASH diets, which I didn't even know.
diets, yeah.
I didn't even know what that was, but it's capital DASH. Good for blood pressure and PCOS. And Mediterranean. Sorry, I know you don't like it when I say it like that.
Mediterranean
Eating.
Yeah.
Which is honestly good for everything.
Guys, I really want to come up with a shirt with the way
It's not gonna like all the stuff is not gonna fit.
I know, but it's
not
so
gonna fit.
good. I just want to, but I
All my
want to
words are not gonna
pronounce
fit.
it incorrectly, like the way that you see it on a dictionary, like adolescence, vaginal, Mediterranean. There was another one.
I have a list somewhere.
Yes,
It's somewhere. I
It's
know
so good.
a list exists of it. Oh my god. Yeah, it's whatever. Anyway, we're here. And it's not gonna be an episode if it's not with me saying something wrong.
Yeah.
It's not. And even low carb / your keto diets and all that. Think of your Atkins. Remember when
yes,
Atkins
was
was
a
like
huge
when we
for
were
the
growing
South
up in-
Beach diet.
in the 90s, dude. Like
Yeah.
that was all about it. Anyway, it turns out that the real goal isn't cutting fats or carbs, like you're going crazy with that. It's eating smarter and controlling your blood sugar and reducing that inflammation.
And not restricting.
Exactly, because at the long term, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So why dieting even matters, right? So lowering insulin helps lower testosterone. So we're talking about hormones, hormonal like fluctuations,
Yes.
maybe even deficiencies. We don't know. It all depends. Managing your weight, even 5 to 10% weight loss can bring back regular periods and improve fertility.
Yeah.
And then reducing inflammation helps your metabolism. I was about to say that one wrong too. Metabolism and heart health in the long term.
Yeah.
So you see, that's why not dieting, but like eating better is
Yeah.
just good overall. So if it's good overall, it will help with PCOS. But we've just bottlenecked it. Like we've just not bottlenecked, but like we've ciphered, like just focused on PCOS when it's really like a whole organism thing, you know? So yeah, you're not eating for just your weight. You're just eating to tell your hormones to just regulate yourselves. Calm down. Let's get back to normal. All that.
All right, so let's talk about the popular diets for PCOS.
Because there's a million of them. So we're just going to focus.
There's a lot.
Yeah, we're going to focus on just like the most.
On each like category within these diets, right? So you'll just stay with me, okay? So the first part about it, okay? The low glycemic index diet.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So as we said before, in PCOS, you're going to have insulin resistance. So some of these diets will tailor to that part in saying eat foods that have a low glycemic index. What does that mean? Each food actually has something called a glycemic index. Whatever food you are ingesting, it is going to trigger an insulin spike or a glucose, right? Your glucose is going to go up and then your insulin is going to go up because of that glucose.
These are your sugars.
Exactly.
To put it even simpler.
So an apple is going to have a different spike, okay, compared to a piece of candy.
Yeah, a
Okay?
Snickers bar.
A Snickers bar, exactly. That's going to have a totally different glycemic index.
Yeah.
So technically, for people that struggle with insulin resistance, we recommend foods that have a low glycemic index. You're not having those glucose spikes that you don't want. The low glycemic index diet is all about pretty much swapping fast carbs that spike your blood sugar, like white bread, sodas, for slower carbs that digest more gradually. This is going to be things like lentils, berries, steel-cut oats, things with a lot more fiber in it.
I love lentils.
I love lentil. I love everything that we just said. Lentils, berries, steel-cut oats. I'm like, give it to me. Give it to me. Did you have your lenteja on the 1st of January? I don't know why I just thought about that.
Did I? I think I did. I think I
Is that like a Cuban thing?
I think so.
Or I don't know if it's a Hispanic thing, but on the 1st of January for the new year, if you do not have your lentils, okay, then you
Bad luck.
are shit out of luck for the rest of the year.
It's not gonna be a good year for you. So even I don't like them how my mom typically does them, that it's like very soup wise. I like the lentils like
The mushy
no
consistency.
like the grainy one, like it looks like rice.
Oh, okay,
really,
like mixed in.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's
okay.
how I like it. I
Salad.
just eat it like exactly. And sometimes I just eat it like just like that. I make it. It pretty much substitutes rice for me.
Rice, exactly.
And I don't know. I love it.
I love lentils.
I love it because and so my mom does
Very
it
good,
for the
high in
first.
fiber and high in iron.
But since I don't really like it, I'm just like one spoonful just for the tradition, just so I could have a good year. Okay, here we go.
It's so stupid. Literally, our year is based off of a freaking lentil
There's
soup.
so many superstitions.
I know.
on that, like,
I know.
So, but a tangent. Anyway.
Anyways,
Lentils.
yes. So the goal is to keep your sugar down so that you don't have this insulin going crazy inside your body. Okay.
Exactly. So people
then-
have the black eyed peas. Not peas. Beans? Peas?
No, I think it is black eyed peas.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other one. I'm like, I know that white people have something that's similar.
White people.
Sorry, but like my tangent still went on in my head. She was.
Anyways,
Go ahead.
studies show that women on low glycemic index diets have more regular periods, better insulin sensitivity, and sometimes even spontaneous ovulation. Okay. Now, flexible, you can also have a flexible approach. You're not cutting carbs, just switching them for better carbs.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
And
fiber.
yeah.
All that stuff.
exactly. You have your complex carbs, you have your simple carbs. You need to have things that have more fiber in it, that it takes your body a little bit longer to process. So it's not just like spiking. You're not constantly having these spikes. There's actually studies going on the order that you eat your food in,
Yes.
whether you'll have a spike or not. So I think that that's incredibly interesting. Imagine having a plate of food
Yeah.
and your body will digest it completely different on the order that you eat it.
You know what's so interesting? I used to have a coworker, and she was this small Asian woman, and anything that she would eat, she was never overweight.
Yeah.
And she would eat anything.
I think that has a lot to do with genetics as well.
But everybody always harped on her that she would always have her dessert first. And she did. Like if it was a birthday party or whatever, this was back when I was working at that doctor's office. If there was like a birthday party or whatever, we would order lunch, and then of course there's like a cake or whatever, right? We were having lunch and she was having her cake. And then she'd eat the lunch. And then I had to ask her once, like, why you do that, whatever. She's like, oh, because it's easier, to digest, and then it just mixes in with my actual food and all that stuff. And I'm like,
I don't know.
she was healthier than all of us. So I don't know if there's truth to that, but I always found that very interesting. And then now we're seeing these things of like, oh, the way like the order that you eat your food, and it always reminds me of
Yeah.
that. I'm like, man.
Which
I
again,
wonder.
I think that it's very multifactorial.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like one day eating something, if you eat the same thing the next day, you probably won't have the same response. I think it definitely depends on what kind of day did you have? Did you have a more stressful day? Did you have a more easier day?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it.
100%.
But I can't wait to kind of see like where those things lead.
It's interesting.
So at first it's a little bit hard because you're not used to it.
Yeah.
Like anything else, when you're doing something new, it's going to be harder to do. It's going to be harder to follow through because you kind of just like, oh my God, I
It's a
don't know
new
what I'm
routine.
doing. Exactly. You kind of feel intimidated and you kind of just want to stick to what you know. Exactly. So yes, how you cook food matters. Boiling pasta is like
To a mush.
to a mush is actually worse. And then and that's something that I learned after that.
Yeah.
Eating pasta al dente takes more time for your stomach to digest, so you feel fuller faster. It's
Yeah,
so
a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyways, pros, you're still gonna get to eat your carbs. Cons, you might feel like you need to constantly learn and be looking at things, seeing what has a low glycemic index or not. But I promise this is just the beginning. It's like when I started eating higher protein, I was so frustrated.
Yeah, I know.
I was so frustrated. I felt like I was having 3 protein shakes a day
I know, and still not getting.
and still not getting enough protein. Constantly like a Greek yogurt, I wanted to vomit if I saw a Greek yogurt.
I hate Greek yogurt,
Okay,
though.
no, I love Greek yogurt now, and I use it for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But when I was first starting to eat high protein, I did not realize how hard it was. And now
Yeah.
it took maybe 2 weeks, and now I struggle to not go past my protein.
Really?
Yes, but that's because I just switched
Well, you started learning.
my diet.
Yeah.
Right? So you start learning and you kind of are just, you pay more attention.
Exactly.
Before I wasn't eating any protein. When I started to track, everyone was saying you should be having at least 100 to 120 grams of protein a day.
Yeah.
And I was not. If I was
Yeah.
having 60, that was a good day.
Yeah. I get it. I get it because I know that I'm under my protein and I'm like now trying to figure out things to incorporate more protein into it.
Yeah.
It's an learning curve.
And not just protein, right? Like when I
Fiber.
would diet, fiber is
Super important.
huge.
Super important.
And with everything going on in the world, like colon cancer
for our
and
age.
for our age, it's like never have I ever wanted fiber more in my diet.
Crazy.
It is really crazy. And I fear like there's a link to that.
Of course.
But I don't know that. We're not talking about that. But
We're not going to find out now either.
Exactly.
Like, it's going to take a long time to figure that out.
to see that. But you don't need to dig into so much research to show that the United States has very poor fiber intake
100%.
for everyone.
100%.
So,
because a lot of people relate fiber with carbs.
Yes, exactly.
So then they're like, no, I can't have carbs.
And
because I need
that's
to lose
another
weight.
problem, which what I was going to say is when I used to diet, I used to cut the carbs. And then I would feel drained. I felt like I didn't have energy. I felt like that I would lose my motivation to eat healthy because I felt terrible, right?
Yeah, I get it. It's such a vicious cycle.
It is. It's a terrible cycle. All right. The next part is going to be a DASH diet. So dietary approaches to stop hypertension. So that's the DASH diet. So DASH was created to lower blood pressure, but turns out that it's also really great for PCOS. It's loaded with veggies, fruits, whole grains, lean protein, a healthy dairy, while cutting back on the sugar, red meat, processed junk food.
Yeah.
Now, clinical trials show that it helps with insulin resistance, blood pressure, and inflammation, and even tames the androgens a bit too, which you can also see in PCOS. It's super adaptable. It's really family friendly. It's naturally higher in carbs, but you can tweak the portions if you need to.
Exactly.
Again, or switch the carbs to ones that have more fiber. Now, the pros is that it's really easy to follow. The cons is that it might be a little too carb heavy for some people that maybe want to
Lose more weight.
or
faster,
something
like
like
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it all depends on what your preferences are or like what your journey is.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Another one that's really common, that's really good for PCOS is the Mediterranean diet.
This one's good.
Out of all the diets that have ever, or not diets, out of all the ways of eating,
Yeah.
I feel like the Mediterranean diet has been consistently showing just good news.
Exactly.
Good news every single time.
Yeah. It's good for everything.
Every time that there's something positive on someone's like, I don't know, like health journey, and they're like, I followed a Mediterranean, I'm like, of course you did. And then if like someone tells me like, oh yeah, they decreased heart risk or something by like 80%, they're like by following a Mediterranean diet, and I'm like, of course they did. It's freaking. I'm like, what?
I know.
I'm like, why?
Always.
Why?
Always. It always comes up, man.
Yeah.
Always.
So basically, the diet version of retiring early on at the beach in Greece is
That's what I picture.
a ton of olive oil,
Exactly.
fish, right? Veggies, nuts, fruits, legumes, just a sprinkle of dairy, feta cheese. I love feta cheese.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love feta cheese.
Wait, but feta cheese? No, feta cheese is not goat cheese. Feta cheese is
It's
different.
Greek.
Yeah, it's very, yeah. I'm like,
No, you're right.
I'm thinking about goat cheese actually. But anyways, it's great for inflammation, insulin sensitivity, fertility, heart health, tons of research to back its like general like longevity too.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for our 100th episode.
Coming
We're not going to ruin it, but it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
So buying lots of fresh fish, nuts, extra virgin olive oil can get really pricey, but if you can do it, it's totally worth it. And honestly, I feel that once you kind of get the routine going and the habit of buying these kinds of foods
And you plan it out.
it's probably not even going to be that expensive.
Yeah. In relation, like if you know.
And fresh fish is always, it has the omegas.
Oh yeah.
It's going to have those extra vitamins and minerals that we might not see from foods like in poultry or in red meats, right?
100%. Yeah.
And then the last one that we're going to talk about is the low carb ketogenic diets. Low carb means that you are really moderately carb cutting. Okay. Keto is like drastic carb cutting. Have you ever done keto before?
No, I can't.
I did keto
I can't do that.
for I think like 2 weeks, and I did the dairy free because I felt like it was so much like cheese and all these things, and I was like, that I don't know why that just sounds like wrong to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I did it. I got the little ketone strips, all that jazz.
Dang. Yeah.
I lost weight,
I'm
but
sure you did.
that is not. I don't care what anyone tells me.
Yeah.
A keto diet is not sustainable.
It's not.
I couldn't even have a banana.
No.
And me that I love fruit, it just didn't work out for me.
No. We're omnivores. We're supposed to eat like a variety of things.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. you
Yeah.
know? That's why the Mediterranean diet is the one that like, that's what works, man.
Yeah. So keto forces your body into this metabolism state where it just burns fats because it doesn't have carbs to burn for energy. So it needs to burn energy from somewhere. So your
forcing
body is going to burn fats after that. That's why people on a ketogenic diet really lose weight really effectively fast. And a lot of people do it if they have an event coming up. They'll do like a keto diet to kind of like lose weight drastically. But anyways, some PCOS studies show that fast weight loss lowered insulin, lowered testosterone, in some women even ovulating naturally. I don't think it's anything special because of the keto diet. I think it's because unfortunately, maybe this person that had PCOS was already eating a higher carb diet. When they finally cut carbs, I don't think you should be cutting drastically. I don't think that that's healthy at all.
Yeah.
But when they finally started cutting drastically, then they saw all these positive response in their body, the fast weight loss. That's like, I mean, talk about like instant gratification.
Exactly. And it's going to motivate you.
It's going to motivate you. So fast weight loss, lowered insulin, lowered testosterone. It's like, oh my God.
These things are going to make you feel better.
Exactly. Especially helpful if you're like, if you have PCOS that's like on the super insulin resistant side.
Yeah.
When you're not having any carbs, I mean...
Yeah.
It's better, right?
Yeah.
So again, I don't think that this is the healthy thing to do, but these are some of these diets that are being pushed
For
online
PCOS.
for PCOS. Now, like we said, the cons, this is really hard to stick with. Okay.
Yeah.
It can lead to things like constipation because if you're not having carbs and you're not having fiber, then it leads to nutrient gaps, which I feel like this is awful as well.
Yeah. It's inevitable almost, I feel.
Yeah, and then people talk about the keto flu. Yeah, it's so crazy how online they kind of normalize the keto flu. And I know that there's going to be people, I know that there's a ton of people that like live, swear, die by the keto diet. And they're like, it's normal. That's just your body like detoxing for the first like 3 days. No, my friend.
It's not normal.
That the keto flu is that you are not giving your body the fuel that it needs. So you feel like absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Because you're not giving it the nutrients that it needs.
And you're forcing it to behave in a way that it hadn't behaved before, like burning the fats that it wasn't burning before and stuff like that. So you're literally forcing your body to do something different.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the pros is the instant gratification of rapid weight loss and the blood sugar effects. I think that's the most obvious ones. And then obviously cons is how strict it is. And man, I can attest to that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
You have to be super strict. You have to be counting your carbs. You have to, if you feel like you went over, you have to like pee on a strip to make sure that you're still in ketosis. It's this whole entire thing.
Yeah.
So quick recap of the PCOS kind of like diets.
At least those popular ones.
The low glycemic index, eat smarter carbs. DASH diet, really for hypertension, but also really great in general.
Yeah, exactly.
But just watch out for like the whole entire like carb situation. Mediterranean, everyone's favorite. She's the party favorite. Yeah. And then low carb keto with instant gratification, powerful, but obviously probably not going to be sustainable.
Yeah, and it's probably might not make you feel great at first too. So
yeah, no, I don't.
That's why I can't. No.
I had an attending when I was a resident.
Yeah.
I was a cardiologist.
Oh boy.
And he did the keto diet. He was a cardiologist, and he did a keto diet, and he lost a ton of weight.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So I always wanted to ask him, like, who's the cardiologist
Yeah. How do you feel for real?
about, but I don't know, like, maybe he didn't do the keto diet that everyone else, because I feel like the keto diet, some people like really go crazy with the heavy, greasy, fatty things.
Yeah.
And then that was the part that kind of took me back. So
There's a
I did
lot
the
of, like,
dairy-free version.
Fats into it. Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of fat, like centralized thing, which I get it. I get it. There's avocado oil. There's good
Bullet
fats, but like,
coffee that was like with butter and stuff like that. I was just like, I love me some butter, but not on my coffee.
it's too much. It's
Yeah.
too much. For me, it's just too much. Like, I'm okay. Anyway, so some fun facts and myth busting about PCOS diets, because unfortunately, when there's fads like these, there's going to be some myths to take on, because that's just what's going to happen. So myth number one, you have to quit dairy to fix your PCOS. Kind of, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Truth? No. Okay. Immediately when somebody tells me you gotta cut off something completely, it's a red flag.
Probably a red flag. Yeah.
I get it that you have to lower something, adjust, whatever, but when you gotta just cut something off completely from your life, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Anyway, so despite what your favorite influencer may be talking about on TikTok or whatever, there's no strong evidence that dairy alone worsens PCOS for most people.
Dairy alone.
Exactly. Some studies hint that very high intakes of like skim milk or low-fat dairy might increase insulin slightly. But yogurt, cheese, and even whole milk in moderation are generally fine.
Yeah.
So in fact, fermented dairy like Greek yogurt may even improve your gut health, which we have always been saying this in many, many episodes, that the mind, the gut, like everything, it's just very, very...
interconnected.
Interconnected. So your gut health is very, very important for all these things, including PCOS. And then a fun fact, if dairy aggravates your skin or your stomach, try switching to full fat fermented options before cutting it out just completely cold turkey. That's why just try different things. Like just cutting something out entirely, it's generally not the best idea.
And also, I just want to add on to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vitamins that are fat soluble vitamins. So if you are not having healthy fats in your diet, then you're not going to be able to absorb some of those really important vitamins. For example, if you're going to do peanut butter, right? So a lot of people do the PB2 powder.
Oh, yes.
To take out the fat. You can probably actually benefit more from the nutrients of just a regular peanut butter. Just don't do a crazy amount of it. And then compared to the PB2 powder. I use the PB2 powder. I use regular peanut butter as well. It just depends on what I'm eating.
Exactly.
But that's just like kind of like an example of that. Your diet should consist of healthy fats. So I don't think that just cutting out all dairy is going to really, I'm sure it's maybe if you were eating a lot, like an excessive amount, maybe it might help. But I don't think you need to cut it out completely.
Yeah.
Okay, so myth number 2 is you have to go with a gluten-free diet or you'll never manage PCOS. The truth is, unless you have celiac disease or diagnosed with a gluten sensitivity, there is zero medical reason why you need to get rid of gluten.
People love the gluten thing. They love it. They blame gluten for everything.
I know.
It's always, I wait for it. I'm like, say gluten. Say gluten for anything. Like acne, this and that. And maybe there's something, but like, it's always picked on.
Yeah. And also, it's just like gluten-free is not easy.
No, it's not.
It is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And I just don't want people to be so stressed about gluten when there's really no medical evidence showing that you should cut it out. Yeah. Unless you have celiac disease or a gluten sensitivity.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Now, fun fact, whole grains like barley, bulgur, whole wheat pasta are naturally high in fiber, which can help PCOS by improving that insulin resistance and gut health.
You see how it's all, again, like you got to treat like the whole and then it will help out with PCOS. But it's not, but people just say like, oh, it's for PCOS. And it's not really.
Exactly.
You know? Next myth, carbs are the enemy and you should never eat them again. Exactly. As we've said, carbs are they're not evil. Okay. They're not all made equally either. So it's a type of carb and how much of it do you eat that really actually matters. So good carbs like beans, berries, lentils, and quinoa actually stabilize blood sugar and feed that good bacteria that we were talking about, which both help with that insulin resistance.
Yeah.
Actually, a fun fact is that your brain literally runs on glucose. Cutting out carbs too low can sometimes cause brain fog, mood swings, low energy, especially for women.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with the keto diet too, that I think it's part of that of the keto flu, that you feel like with that brain fog and everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, because you're not feeding your brain at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not about it.
Yeah.
I could only imagine how shitty that must feel.
Yeah. And also, when you're in ketosis and you have an excessively high amount of ketones, can actually cross the blood-brain barrier, which can actually lead to symptoms as well, like neural symptoms.
Isn't it bad for your kidneys too? To have
Just, I think it's bad in general to be in such like an acidotic state. But again, it just depends on like the levels, obviously.
yeah.
But
I don't know.
I think part of the real reason why people feel so bad for that like keto flu is because you have cut out almost all of your carbs.
Yeah. It's intense.
Okay, so
Still on the keto train.
yeah, stay on the keto trend. So keto is the only way to lose weight with PCOS. Like we already said, keto can work, and I think it's going to give a lot of people that instant gratification. However, studies show that any sustainable, calorie-controlled, higher fiber diet, like the DASH diet, Mediterranean, low glycemic index, can lower insulin and help with that insulin resistance and weight loss. Now, the latest PCOS research suggests it's more about the consistency than the exact number of carbs, meaning you could be eating chickpeas and sweet potatoes and still follow through with your goals.
Yeah, because there's people that are vegetarians and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or vegans.
Yeah.
You know, and they manage.
Yeah.
Anyway, next myth. You need to lose weight and your PCOS might magically disappear. Which I've seen that one a lot.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen that one a lot. This is like in the other side things of like weight loss and all that stuff. So the truth behind that is that weight loss can greatly improve your symptoms like cycle regularity, insulin resistance, as we keep talking about, and even those androgen levels of those male hormones. But PCOS just doesn't vanish, gone out of nowhere. Even lean women can have PCOS. Even after weight loss, some symptoms can, like, how do you say that?
What?
This.
Oh, hirsutism. It's actually hirsutism, but everyone in the world calls it hirsutism.
Hirsutism.
Yeah.
Okay. So some symptoms like hirsutism might linger. Yeah. Which is what? So explain that.
It's extra hair growth. You'll have a lot of girls having a lot of
like
extra
the
hair
chin
growth, like over the chin, over the body. It's just in areas that you don't want hair growth, right? So that's what it's about.
Yeah. So studies actually show that 5 to 10% of weight loss, even if you're still like quote unquote overweight according to your BMI index, can be enough to restore ovulation and improve fertility dramatically. It's about health gains, not just your size.
Yeah. And then bonus facts.
Yeah. So just sprinkle in some like little bonus facts that I'm sure that you've heard if you're like on this side of like, you know, TikTok and whatnot.
Socials, IG.
Yeah.
So spearmint tea. It might slightly lower your testosterone if you drink it twice daily for about a month. There's some small studies to suggest that. So your tea habit could get you better in your skin. Could
benefit. Yeah.
So that if you do this, it could benefit your skin and maybe even your ovaries.
Now, these are very small studies. That when people talk about it, they're basing it off of like very small studies. And like, think about it. If you're adding tea, that's pretty much water. That's pretty much hydration. So obviously your skin's going to be a little better. Hydration's always going to be better for you.
Yeah, exactly.
in the grand scheme of it.
Fiber is basically like your hormonal wingman. It slows down the digestion, tames insulin spikes. You're feeding your gut bacteria what it needs, and also helps regulate your appetite naturally. Ever since I started doing higher fiber, I don't feel like that crazy need to snack on things because I stay fuller for longer.
Yeah, exactly. So, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, your ovaries have insulin receptors, which means that insulin is high, your ovaries get the message to churn out more testosterone, which is not really what you want. Taming insulin with diet isn't just about diabetes. It's also about helping your entire reproductive system like just calm down for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you have
inositol.
a supplement often recommended for PCOS, and it's chemically similar to a B vitamin, and it works inside your cells to help insulin knock on the door more efficiently.
Some PCOS women are more likely to have vitamin D deficiency. I think everyone and their mother has vitamin D deficiency.
Honestly.
Not just PCOS.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Check your levels though.
Honestly, I don't even think okay, yes. Check your levels if you want to. But for me, I don't even, most people have it. That is such a chronic thing and such a common thing that I don't think people should wait to get their vitamin D tested to take a supplement. I think that you should daily
chew in momentarily, I guess.
Did it go?
The music of my dog's barking.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Max and Brownie. Okay, I think we're done now.
All right. So I just don't feel that you need to wait to get your vitamin D level tested. Okay. I think that you should absolutely take 600 units daily of vitamin D to just always keep it replenished. It's super good for your immune system, bone health. I mean, there's so much for vitamin D. Yes, I don't think this is just to women with PCOS. I think that everyone should be taking their vitamin D. Next one is fat cells talk to your hormones. Belly fat, in particular, pumps out more hormones that worsen insulin resistance. Shrinking fat cells through healthy diets and movement sends a calmer message to your endocrine system. It's just all about metabolism.
Exactly. Again, this kind of proves the point that we said in the very, very beginning of this episode. It's like just eating better is going to just help you out as a whole.
Yes.
And as a whole, PCOS, indirectly, directly, whatever. But this is pretty much treating the whole system is what you should actually go after.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the latest research, like highlights, like what's new in PCOS and dieting, at least in relation to each other. The DASH and Mediterranean diets are still like the most popular ones when you're talking about trying to help out your whole system with PCOS, right? A huge 2024 network meta-analysis compared tons of diet studies and found DASH and Mediterranean style eating are at the top for improving your insulin resistance, lowering testosterone, and shrinking waistlines when in regards to PCOS. So DASH focuses on fiber, fruits, veggies, lean protein, and it helps with the insulin in the long term. So no need for like extreme like removal and like limiting of the carbs. Then the Mediterranean eating, so olive oil, salmon, all those things, they fight inflammation, and they in turn, because just how it works, it supports fertility.
Fertility.
You know what I mean. Fun fact, fiber itself in fruits, veggies, legumes, all those things that we talked about is now seen as one of the key reasons why these diets work so well. Fiber feeds good gut bacteria and keeps your blood sugar calm, and it also helps satiate you, you know?
Keto is so popular, but the science is a little bit cautious. A 2023 review looked at ketogenic diets for PCOS. Keto can help lower the insulin and testosterone fast, especially in like really stubborn cases. I can see how maybe they have a really like strong way to kind of like attack it first. However, it's super hard to maintain. It can really cause you to have like nutrient gaps. And researchers warn that it's better treated like a medical nutrition therapy, not like an actual lifestyle. So I can see how, like what we were saying, people that have events or something like that want to lose weight or something like that, like kind of like push. Or maybe someone that just found out about their PCOS, that they want to do something like really like fast or maybe like hard at the beginning and then slowly come off of it.
Absolutely.
I can see that. Now, in small trials, some women regain their periods after just a few months on keto. Okay. Yeah. Again, small studies. But if you really think about it, you're kind of eliminating a lot. When you eliminate your carbs, we're talking about you're probably eliminating a lot of crap that you shouldn't have been eating in the first place.
Yep.
And especially, I don't think people are aware of how much sugar they take in.
No. Sugar's like in everything.
Yes. And I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, and
not many people do.
Stupid of me not to, I don't know, like ignorant of me.
No, but it's most people.
I did not know how much sugar was in things until I did the Whole30. Mm-hmm. Just for 30 days. It like
forces you to.
It like punched me in the face. I could not believe it that it took me 23 years of my life to read a nutritional label.
That's the problem. Like, you're not used to reading the nutritional labels until you do something like this.
Isn't that crazy that how nutrition is not like a high school class?
It really doesn't make any sense.
Or like finances is not part of a high school class.
Yeah, we need to learn the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, but not reading a nutrition label. It's crazy to me.
It is crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, bottom line, keto could be a really good short-term tool, okay? But it's not the answer for everyone. And that's totally, like, I can see that. I couldn't do it. It wasn't for me. And you still need veggies. You still need the zucchini. You still need all of that and the carbs. But you can maybe do this for a really short burst of time.
And then in those small trials that you were talking about, that, they lost all that weight and they regained their period a few months afterwards, but most of them dropped out before like finishing the keto because it was that tough.
So it's I'm telling you, it was really hard.
It's super hard. It's just, I don't see.
And that's like another thing that I noticed with the keto diet is that, which I think plays into the reason why you lose so much weight, is that you don't go out to eat because you can't control what they're serving you. So a lot of people stop eating out. I mean, just by stopping that, you're gonna lose.
You will. Yeah, exactly. Another one is intermittent fasting, so IF for short, and it's getting a lot of attention. So in 2023, a small pilot study tried 16:8, that time ratio for like time restricted eating. In other words, you're allowed to eat for 8 hours of your day, but then you're fasting for the other 16.
Yeah.
And then in women, specifically for women with PCOS. So what were the results? Some lost fat, improved their insulin, and 73% of women got more regular periods. Yeah. But the problem is, intermittent fasting doesn't work for everyone. Like most of these diets, you got to see which one works for you. Some women felt great, others didn't see much of a change, or they felt stressed. And then fasting gives your insulin levels a chance to take a coffee break, in essence, which can explain why these cycles normalize in some of these people.
Yeah.
I tried this one in particular, the 16:8 intermittent fasting when back in San Antonio, and I did lose weight, but I couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was rough. There were like some mornings or whatever, or some nights that it was just, we'll see when I got my period and stuff like that I get hungrier and stuff.
Yeah. All right. And then your gut bacteria might be a bigger deal than we thought. Yeah. Tune into one of our most popular episodes, the Mind-Gut Connection.
Yeah.
Emerging research shows women with PCOS tend to have different gut microbiomes than women without it. Some studies suggest tweaking your diet, especially adding more fiber and fermented foods like yogurt and kimchi, could shift your gut bacteria in a way that it improves insulin resistance and also inflammation. There's so much research going into the gut, and the gut microbiome is so complicated because we're talking about all the microbes in your gut, and it is
a lot of different ones. Yeah.
Your gut microbes can literally influence your hormones, and they can actually help metabolize your estrogen, your testosterone, and cortisol. That I can see how some new research, now that we are researching more about the gut microbiome, is coming out with that.
100%. And then supplements. That's another one that people...
Jules and I have talked about supplements here on the podcast before.
But people love supplements.
I know, people love supplements. I know.
Oh my God, they love like to throw a supplement for everything.
Una vitamina.
Of course. Let's talk about that.
Inositol,
what she said. It's now officially recognized by the international guidelines in 2023 as a safe and could be considered, in quotes, supplement for PCOS in particular. It seems to help with insulin sensitivity and menstrual regularity for some women. But remember, it's not a magic wand for like weight loss or hair growth, even though like it was recognized for PCOS. Vitamin D, if you're deficient, and many women with PCOS are, because many people are vitamin deficient. So fixing your vitamin D levels might improve your insulin and even your mood in turn. There are some early studies suggesting combining inositol with vitamin D, and that together might be even better for ovulation recovery, but more research is needed on that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a thought. They're exploring.
Yeah.
This is just like the very recent emerging information about this.
All right. So lifestyle combinations beat just small solo efforts.
Yeah.
A 2023 study compared that dieting alone versus diet and exercise in women with PCOS, that the combo group had double the improvement in insulin sensitivity compared to diet only. That's not news.
Yep.
We've said it before.
Yep.
One of the strongest evidence that we have is exercising that will lower your insulin resistance.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When you eat healthier and combine that with exercise,
Perfect.
that combination together is going to decrease that insulin resistance. Exercise also improves your mood and energy level, more motivation,
Yep.
and it's just all
Yeah.
they work together.
Exactly. It's a perfect combo for that.
So fun fact, you don't have to be a person that goes to the gym for like 6,000 hours a day, like a gym rat. Even just a brisk walk after meals. Jules, you do this all the time.
I do it every
You
day.
go every day for your walk.
Yep.
And or even like Zumba, dancing, anything counts as exercise. It's just find something that you enjoy doing that gets your heart up, your heart rate up. And I always say, your heart rate is up, your heart is happy.
Yeah, exactly. I put on my podcast and I go. I drop off Keto and I go. And if I don't do it in the morning, like I didn't do it now, this morning, I'll do it in the afternoon or something.
Yeah.
Dude, and you know
You
what?
fit it anywhere.
Exactly. And it's something that I could easily fit anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not something that I have to do like in this whatever, this place or whatever. No, just try to find something.
Like, there's so much on YouTube.
Yeah.
I could do a 20-minute Pilates class.
Mario does like these weight exercises now with our dumbbells in our house following YouTube. Yeah.
It's great.
It's truly, truly great. Yeah. I really feel like
There's a ton of things for kids too.
Oh, yes.
Because sometimes parents are like, I get home from work late and I don't have time to go to the park. And then I'm like, while you're cooking dinner, turn on the TV, put on YouTube for your kids and do kids yoga, kids exercise. It's
I'm sure there's like dancing
and moving.
Yeah, exactly. And just even for me, for the walking, it's not only for like health and keeping up with the weight and all that. It's not even that. It's just like mentally it helps me too.
Yes. And
it's just like a mental break.
Yeah, and I get it. I think working out alone is like that's mental space that you need.
Yeah.
I work out sometimes with Nora. Yes. Is it hard? Absolutely. Is it annoying? Absolutely. Because when I just want to finish something, it is really hard to work out with your kid, but you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. You just get used to it.
Exactly.
You're kind of just like, whatever. I couldn't do 10 of the reps. I did 9.
Yep.
It's okay. Just keep moving forward. Keep going. Keep showing up.
That's the thing. Like some people are like, oh, I can't because it's not going to be the whole thing. Doesn't matter. Something's something.
Yes. There was something that I actually started following now. I'm part of I think like a Peloton group. I think it's a Peloton group on Facebook. I'm in so many Facebook groups. It's ridiculous. But
You're like the one person I know that still uses Facebook that much.
I love Facebook. But the Facebook groups, that's what I'm really on Facebook for. I probably have a million friend requests that I haven't answered. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The only things that I ever respond to are the happy birthday wishes on my Facebook.
Which you had
A fake birthday, apparently. Like Facebook somehow changed my birthday. I don't know how, because I didn't even know how to do that. I had to dig into Facebook, Google how to change birthday on Facebook. But anyways, I'm in Facebook really for the Facebook groups because they're Facebook is so old that these groups are so well established. So it's really hard to leave those groups.
Oh, 100. Like I love the Facebook mom groups.
Yeah,
like if I'm looking something to do or somewhere to go or where can I find this?
Girl,
like, it's
listen,
a great resource,
I'm in a physician mom group. I'm in a physician group. At one point when I was single, I was in a Are You Dating the Same Guy in South Florida group, which was super spicy. Super spicy. Yeah.
I've been married forever and I wanted to join just so I could like scroll and see the drama.
No, the drama is drama in there. Okay.
I freaking love that. I can't believe it's so smart to have that group too. Like,
listen, it's really crazy. That group is really crazy. I'm in like a homeowners. Now I'm in building plans. What am I building, Jules? I'm not building anything. But I'm in that group. And I love seeing people's ideas for this future build that I don't even know existed. But anyways, what I was trying to say, what was I trying to say here?
I don't know how we got here.
How did we get to Facebook?
Well, I said do something, even something is something.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I remember how we got here. We were talking about the, you mentioned like even just a little bit, you don't have to do the full thing.
Exactly.
I'm in a Peloton. I'm pretty sure it's a Peloton group, like a fitness group. And there was a girl there that said, I promised myself that I was going to do at least 10 minutes of whatever workout. Yeah. And she was like, after the 10 minutes, you just finished it. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there were days that I did the 10 minutes and I didn't do any more. But when you're like already in it, what that means is that the hardest thing is to start.
100%.
And after that, once you start, you end up finishing.
Yeah, man. Exactly. The hardest thing is to start. And once you have that routine, it will, like, for me, if I don't fall under that routine, and sometimes it happens, like, either kiddos home from school, pick something, and I fall off of that routine, I'm there like the day, I'm like, my day's not.
It's weird.
It's weird. Like, I can't, there's something
You don't
off,
feel like yourself.
Exactly. It's so once you get that routine, that's it. Like, for me, it's everything for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so some future focus, right? Personalization.
Future focus, personalization is key.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Which is true, because even in the world of like medicine, when it comes to like medications, it's like
personalized medicine is very, 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 very interesting to me. Imagine like literally tailoring everything to each individual person,
to your DNA,
like,
exactly. That precise, like that's super hot right now. So of course that's going to pop its head here in PCOS. So like the upcoming updates to the international PCOS guidelines hinted at in 2024 leaks focus way more on individualized nutrition, which honestly is something that everybody should just be doing. And we do it. We don't think keto works for us, so don't do keto. I tried intermittent fasting, did it for a little bit, didn't really work out for me in the long run. I feel like it's just what ends up happening.
Really, and I don't think that a lot of people use a nutritionist enough.
No. I've never seen one.
If I could have a nutritionist every single day, I would.
And that's what wealthy people do.
Yeah, I know. They literally have like a person,
or their chef,
or like their chef. But I'm sure that if they can afford a chef, I'm sure that they can afford a nutritionist to tell the chef what to use.
That's what I'm saying. Or the chef already is aware of how to cook according to whatever nutrition.
But for those of you that don't know, actually your insurance most likely will cover a nutritionist. Okay. And you might not even have to pay for it.
Yeah. That's like how some people don't know that certain, not all of them, but certain health insurances do cover certain gyms.
Yes.
Gym memberships.
Even lifetime.
Depends on your insurance.
Yeah, it depends on your insurance. But there are insurances that even cover a lifetime membership. Not all of it. But I mean, from $300 a month to $80 a month, I might consider that.
Exactly. 100%. Mine, for instance, doesn't cover lifetime, but it would cover like me going to LA Fitness. So instead of forcing one perfect diet, the future is about working with your preferences, even your culture and your metabolism, and tweaking from there, seeing how your metabolism works and all that, and going from there. So also expect more screening for mental health alongside with diet advice and all that. And because managing PCOS is not just physical, it's mental too. Those hormones affect more than just like your weight. They affect you a lot mentally. Even some clinics are starting to use dietitians and therapists as a tag team for PCOS treatment, like a hormone fighting like team, pretty much, which is brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that is a brilliant team.
So it wouldn't be our podcast if we didn't include this.
Yeah, because
it's just so trendy. Yeah, it's okay. I don't want to use the word trendy. It's just
it's hot right now.
It's hot. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot right now.
All right, GLP-1. Okay, GLP-1 receptor agonists. So
those are your Ozempics, your
Wegovy,
Zepbound,
Mounjaro. Yeah. This is going to be a new approach to managing PCOS. Of course, you guys were probably listening to this whole entire episode and saying, have they not mentioned the GLP-1 and all this?
Mostly when we're talking about weight loss.
So GLP-1 receptor agonists are medications originally developed to treat type 2 diabetes. They work by mimicking a natural hormone in the body that helps regulate blood sugar and appetite. Recently, these medications have really exploded. Semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy, liraglutide, which is the one that is approved for kiddos, have gained attention to their potential benefits in managing PCOS. and particularly in women who are overweight and have insulin resistance. If you listen to our episode on PCOS, part of the treatment regimen for PCOS is actually starting metformin, which is a diabetic drug. Here is a little bit of information. They haven't come out with anything changing guidelines, treatment management. However, I can see how this is not going to be something in the future. It's already been approved for sleep apnea. I'm like waiting. I'm waiting for this.
No, me too. For
so
sure.
benefits: weight loss and improved insulin sensitivity. Studies have shown that GLP-1 receptor agonists can lead to significant weight loss and better insulin control in women with PCOS. So they're already researching this, okay?
It's a matter of time.
Yeah. In some cases, they might be more effective than traditional treatments like metformin. So it also enhances your fertility. Again, like we've kind of mentioned throughout this whole entire episode, that women that did these diets and all these things tended to get their period on a more regular basis. Obviously, if you are more regular, your chances of fertility are obviously going to increase. Beyond metabolic improvements, these medications have been associated with more regular menstrual cycles and increased chances of natural pregnancies, offering a lot of hope for these women that are really struggling in the fertility outcomes.
It's wonderful.
Yes. Innovative therapies, emerging research is kind of exploring that combination between GLP-1 with hormones like estrogen to kind of create these therapies that address both metabolic and reproductive aspects of PCOS more effectively. So we'll talk about considerations. Side effects. Common side effects include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. These are usually temporary. Maybe they lessen throughout time.
Maybe you need to try
patients, that have to try different ones, or sometimes maybe just not doing the full dose. I mean, how much research is going into microdosing now?
Exactly.
Which that's like another. We need to do a whole entire updated episode on GLP-1.
100%.
Because so much has come out since we released that episode. It was one of our first episodes.
Yeah. 2 years ago now.
Pregnancy GLP-1s are not recommended during pregnancy. Women planning to conceive should consult with their healthcare providers before starting or continuing these medications. Off-label uses, while promising the use of GLP-1s for PCOS is currently considered off-label, meaning it's not officially approved for this condition. Patients should discuss potential risks and benefits with their healthcare provider. Bottom line, GLP-1s, receptor agonists, are going to offer a lot of promising new options for managing PCOS, especially for women that are really struggling with their weight and their insulin resistance. They may also improve reproductive health. However, their use should be personalized and just not kind of just like given, and obviously closely monitored.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if we've learned anything, it's like we said in the beginning, eating better is just going to overall help you out. And PCOS is one of the things that it will help you.
There was literally nothing in those diets that are mind-blowing.
No.
Nothing.
No, that's why it's like, oh, this is for PCOS. Dude, that's for everything. That's for your whole wellness, for your whole health. It will indirectly or directly help out PCOS. Why? Because you're treating the whole. Which I think DOs, aren't you guys like more about that, like treating the whole? Just makes sense, man.
Body, mind, and spirit. Oh no, it's like when we go in, we do have a more like holistic approach to things, but we still use medications, we still use therapies, we still use pretty much modern medicine. But we do tend to have a more holistic approach to things.
You consider it more.
I do.
Exactly. All right. So that was our episode.
That was a great episode.
I think so. We tackled a lot of the things that are just out there.
We hope if you have PCOS and you've seen these videos that this information helps you. And maybe you won't be so overwhelmed that you have to follow someone's specific diet, specific ways of eating. It's just, I think the hardest thing is to start. And some of the research shows it's not about how many carbs, it's about consistency.
Exactly. And just, if you already have PCOS, that's a lot that you're dealing with already.
Exactly.
To then be adding on something that you can't really follow because it's too hard or
Get
whatever.
a nutritionist.
That will really, really help. And check it out because it might be covered.
Take your vitamin D. There's so many key points.
Things. But eating better will just help you overall. So Anyways, check us out on all socials. And if you're not one of the people too much in the social media and you want to talk to us, funnymedicine305@gmail.com. That works too. Thank you guys for tuning in and for all your support and everything you guys are doing. We love you guys, and check us out on the next one.
Bye.